Time for Cleared for Takeoff with Rich Kaplan. What do you got cooking, Rich?
This week we're going Jetsons, flying cars. Yep, for years now, many different countries have been experimenting with the concept of making an automobile that can fly. Well, now it's happened. There are 3 corporations that have actual prototypes flying. The first prototype comes from a company called Terrafugia, and it's called the Transition. Its flight cruise speed of 100 miles per hour and a range of 400 miles. When in ground travel mode, the Transition will be propelled by a combination of an internal combustion and engine and an electric motor. The price tag is $279,000, which may sound like a lot, but when you consider this as brand new technology, it's worth it. Now, one interesting footnote is that the FAA isn't getting involved in this technology, surprisingly, meaning you do not need a license from the FAA to fly your car. All you need is a driver's license for now, and basically you can go up in the heavens in your automobile. Now, Aurora Flight Sciences is a Boeing company. They're taking it in a different direction by introducing what's called the PAV. Now, the PAV may be a prototype for what will be ultimately the flying taxi cab. Now, I actually took a photo off the internet of the PAV. This is her. Now, the PAV will utilize VTOL technology, which is an acronym for vertical takeoff and landing. They're going to go with the helicopter formula. Now, the helicopter formula is right now the most popular formula for flying cars. It's simple. You don't need a field to take off. All you need is a small area, small patch of land, even your driveway, depending upon where you live and regulations, and you can fly. Now, VTOL is nothing new. NASA's been experimenting with it for years on their flying cars and on their development for flying taxis. The future looks like, though, we are going to go with a different formula for VTOL called tilt rotor. Tilt rotor is nothing new. The United States Marine Corps relies on the V-22 Osprey for insertion into foreign countries, as well as special operations. Tilt rotor utilizes the engine on a pedestal on the side like this that will tilt in its appropriate direction. When tilted upwards, the aircraft will go into a hover. When tilted forward, the aircraft is like an airplane. This is the formula that I believe will be most successful for flying cars, because it's simple to adapt, simple to manufacture, and not very difficult in forms of encompassing aerodynamics into your formula. Finally, we have a company called Aeromobile. Aeromobile is going to take it to the extreme by producing the first luxury flying car. That's right. It's going to be like a Bentley. Priced between $1.2 and $1.6 million, the Aeromobile is a very aerodynamic, very slick design that kind of resembles a Ferrari on steroids. It's a beautiful machine which will go into production within the year. So far, the only flying car that you can order right now and get delivered is from Terrafugia. Now, Terrafugia is US based. They're based out of Massachusetts, and yes, Howie, out of your home state, but they're Chinese owned. The Chinese had to get involved in something, might as well be flying cars. Now, what I like about the Terrafugia is a simple design utilizing the airplane formula, meaning that the wings fold. Once you deploy the wings, you have an airplane. You can take off from a small airport or a small airstrip. But its limitations are just that you're taking off from a small airport or airstrip. Unfortunately, not all of us live next to an airport where we can take our Terrafugia out, drive it onto the runway, and take off. The idea is, in my opinion, tilt rotor and VTOL. I believe this is the formula for the successful flying cars that we will be using. And what makes it so simple is the fact that we've already perfected it in the V-22, we perfected it in the Bell 609. The United States holds what I believe is the patent for tilt rotor. And it makes me proud to be an American when I say this, because leave it to the United States to come up with the scenario for what would wind up ultimately being the future of flying automobiles. Tilt rotor technology is evolving. Everything is evolving. That's what's so wonderful about humankind. And if you watch shows like Star Trek or science fiction, as Brandon alludes to, the main topic has always been the evolution of technology. We are evolving as a society, and we want to go further, faster, and we also want to be safe when we do it. This is the safest way of doing it. I believe we have to start with baby steps, and these baby steps involve tilt-rotor technology and helicopter technology. When Igor Sikorsky envisioned the helicopter back in its day, no one thought it would work, but it did. He slapped a tail rotor on the machine and it flew perfect. It's baby steps. That's what we need to do. And Terraflugia and Aurora, they have done just that. They have taken the first steps. They're small, but they are historic, because ultimately, I believe by the year 2050, we will see flying cars in people's backyards. I do not doubt this. I believe that they will become affordable. I believe that they will solve a lot of problems, including congestion. I mean, anyone who lives on Long Island knows the horror stories of the Long Island Expressway. This may be the ultimate solution. Air taxis. Uber can only go so far. The taxi cab, you're waiting, and you're stuck in traffic. An air taxi, you fly above it all. But here is the big question. How do we enforce laws regarding them? This is a new technology that needs to be carefully enforced. So for those in the aviation community watching, I urge you to write to your congressman and recommend regulations and be careful as to how we go about this step. The last thing we want are flying cars colliding into flying cars. We want to make sure we do this right. And I believe very strongly that these companies' vision and the vision of the future looks amazing. I also have a photo of numerous corporations that have proposed prototypes. It's hard to make it out, but I know Rocco's very good with his iPhone. These are just some of what will be the future of the flying automobile. As we look to the future, the Jetsons weren't very far off in what they had perceived would be the flying car. They were pretty close, actually. The only difference is, as Joe Satriano mentioned to me, we won't see one folding into a suitcase, unfortunately. But what we will see a significant step in civilians being able to fly. Ordinary people doing the extraordinary. That's what humankind is all about. That's what the dream is all about. Two men doing the impossible on a mountain in North Carolina in 1903 proved that aviation and the dream was real. Now we're taking the next steps, and it is amazing. The future is amazing, and the skies truly are the limits. This has been cleared for takeoff. God bless you, and God bless Boeing on the 50th anniversary of the Boeing 747. This week we celebrate 50 years of the jumbo jet. Hard to believe that 50 years ago, an airplane so large lifted off of a field in Washington State, and no one imagined it would fly, but it did. This is how far aviation has come, and the best is yet to come. I believe this strongly. I look forward to it, and anyone who's ever had a dream, I encourage you tonight, all you children out there, don't ever think that dreams don't come true, okay? When you do wish upon a star, dreams do come true. Walt Disney was right. Thank you.
Great job, Rich Kaplan.
Thank you.